Okay, let's dive right into this explainer, where we're going to completely shatter some deeply held assumptions about what it actually takes to build real wealth. For the longest time, we've all been taught that financial success is this incredibly hard science, right? We're told it's all about complex math formulas, having an off-the-charts IQ, or holding a top-tier college degree. But honestly, the data and the real-world stories we're about to look at reveal a completely different reality. As you'll see, your behavior, your mindset, and your daily habits are infinitely more powerful than your sheer intelligence when it comes to growing your bank account.
We open with just a staggering paradox. I mean, how exactly did a Vermont gas station attendant and JCPenney janitor amass over $8 million while a highly educated 40 under 40 Merrill Lynch executive lost absolutely everything to foreclosure and bankruptcy? Ronald Reed was the very first in his family to even graduate high school, and he chopped firewood for fun. Meanwhile, Richard Fuscone was a Harvard-educated finance wizard living in an 18,000-square-foot mansion with 2 elevators and 11 bathrooms. Yet, when the dust finally settled, Reed quietly left millions to his local hospital and library, while Fuscone stood before a bankruptcy judge with literally zero income.
Section 1. The Paradox of Wealth.
So the secret behind this whole paradox is that financial success is just incredibly unique. It's really one of the only fields where a person with zero formal background can massively outperform top-tier experts. Think about it for a second. You would never, ever see a story about a janitor performing a heart transplant better than a Harvard-trained surgeon. You're never going to hear about an amateur designing a skyscraper better than a master architect. But in the world of money, these stories happen all the time. To really illustrate why intellect absolutely does not equal financial sense, consider a wildly successful tech executive who literally skipped $1,000 gold coins into the ocean just for fun, and unsurprisingly later went entirely broke. This was a guy who designed and patented key components for Wi-Fi routers in his 20s. Yet he carried bricks of cash just to brag and paid a restaurant manager $5,000 in cash after shattering a lamp just to silence him. A genius who loses control of their emotions is for sure a financial disaster waiting to happen.
Morgan Housel's core thesis hits the nail on the head here. Building wealth just isn't a hard math science, it's a soft behavioral skill. And the really beautiful thing about behavior is that it completely levels the playing field for all of us. Ordinary folks with zero formal financial education can absolutely become wealthy if they master a handful of these soft skills. It's not about the spreadsheets at all, folks. It's all about your psychology.
Section 2. Behavior over intelligence. If we strip away all the technical jargon, what we're really talking about is emotional control. The absolutely crucial point here is that true wealth is the unseen part of your finances. It's the first-class upgrades you decline and the luxury cars you decide not to buy. We have this massive misconception in our society, don't we? We think being a millionaire means spending $1 million. In reality, actually spending $1 million is the literal opposite of being a millionaire. The true engine of wealth is extreme frugality. It's about playing incredible defense and realizing that you simply cannot build a portfolio if you consume every single dollar that comes in.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of time. Out of Warren Buffett's $84.5 billion net worth, a staggering $81.5 billion was accumulated only after his 65th birthday. Let that sink in. This is the ultimate multiplier of wealth. As human beings, we naturally think linearly, but wealth grows exponentially. Buffett isn't just a good investor, he has been a good investor for over 75 uninterrupted years.
This proves that good investing isn't actually about chasing the highest possible returns. It's about earning decent returns that you can repeat without interrupting the compounding process. You just need to earn pretty good returns and let the clock do the heavy lifting. The single most powerful thing you can do for your money is simply to get out of its way.
Section 3. The Habits of Millionaires.
Now that we've seen how time and behavior drive wealth, let's look at the actual blueprint of self-made millionaire habits. What do the people who actually succeed at this do every single day? Well, research reveals that 80% of millionaires are first-generation affluent, who share these 7 specific traits. They completely shift away from high-status displays toward disciplined financial survival. They aren't living on private jets. Instead, they're finding a strategic vocation, often dull, completely normal industries with incredibly high demand. They spend about 8 to 10 hours a month efficiently planning out their resources. And, perhaps most importantly, nearly 90% of them credit their success to a supportive spouse who shares their goals of independence rather than focusing on displaying high social status to the neighbors.
Section 4. Getting versus staying wealthy.
These are 2 completely different skill sets, and mixing them up is exactly how geniuses go bankrupt.
While getting wealthy requires optimism, taking risks, and putting yourself out there, staying wealthy demands humility and, honestly, a healthy dose of extreme paranoia. To put that into perspective, 40% of public companies lose effectively all their value over time, and the Forbes 400 has a 20% turnover rate every single decade. Getting rich means swinging for the fences. Staying rich means being genuinely terrified that your gains could be wiped out tomorrow.
The legendary trader Jesse Livermore made millions, but he lost it all because he lacked this exact survival skill. It proves you must always maintain a margin for error to survive those moments of sheer terror in the market. He didn't keep his ego in check. He just didn't leave room for the unexpected. You can actually be wrong half the time in investing and still make an absolute fortune, but only if you avoid the kind of ruinous risk that knocks you out of the game entirely.
Section 5. Your action plan. Okay, so how do we practically apply this philosophy of extreme frugality and debt avoidance to our daily lives? We know the psychology, we know the habits, but what are the actual steps you can take today? Well, Dave Ramsey's baby steps offer a really concrete roadmap for this blueprint, focusing on aggressively killing off credit dependence so institutions no longer control your life. Debt is literally the ultimate drag on growth. When you're a credit junkie, you're just giving away your power. First, you save that initial $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. Then, you aggressively pay off non-mortgage debt using the debt snowball method. Finally, you build out a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund. By following this progression, you are building the ultimate defensive shield. You're ensuring that when the market has a terrifying moment, you aren't forced to sell your investments just to keep the lights on.
And while you wait for compounding to do its magic, current Investopedia data shows you can safely park that emergency fund in certificates of deposit or high-yield savings accounts, yielding somewhere around 4.3 to 5% right now, all without taking any ruinous risks. This is exactly what we mean by earning decent returns without interrupting the process. You're securing your safety net, you're earning a solid yield, and you're protecting your margin of error, all at the exact same time. As Kiplinger notes regarding lifestyle creep, you absolutely have to prioritize frugal living and stability over the temptation to constantly upgrade your life every time your income increases. I mean, it is so incredibly easy to let your expenses rise the second you get a raise. We all suffer from it. It's just human nature. But the individuals who actually hit that $1 million mark, they are the ones who force the goalpost to stay put. They invest that extra income instead of using it to fund a fancier car or a bigger house.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to really reflect on today. When you're making your very next financial decision, ask yourself, are you trying to impress strangers, or are you quietly building true, unseen wealth? Are you playing the role of Richard Viscone, prioritizing the 18,000 square foot mansion until the music stops? Or are you Ronald Read, quietly letting time, humility, and compounding build a lasting legacy? The choice, as we've seen today, is entirely up to your behavior.